Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is going to be a very small. I'm not even sure what this is. A comic haul, I guess. I'm in between a stack redelivery. So last week, actually yeah, it's been a full week. I actually sent all my stack re items to here, but they had to consolidate them, and it's going to be huge. it's going to be, it's like 4 big boxes of comics, which is more than I've ever gotten ever before. Um, and it was because I had won a bunch of auctions where it was just massive collections. It was like sort of a mystery box collections where they just had like a whole bunch of books and like over 100 comics or magazines in some of these auctions that I won, and I won them for great prices. So they are going to be cool. I don't know what they are. Like it's like a few of the ones that they showed look amazing. So I'm sort of excited to see what the rest of the books are. They show 3, and you have to guess what another 97 are like. So it's going to be interesting when those arrive, which should be next week. And I'll do a whole like preview and uh, series of unboxings. Probably it's going to be like a huge number of episodes for that unboxing, but they'll be all great because it's just amazing stuff throughout. But this haul for this video is something I've been kind of dabbling in more and more, which is romance books. I always liked good girl art, and romance books are kind of affordable good girl art. And there's a lot of romance books that are really under the radar. Typically, the ones that are not under the radar are the ones that were done by either like famous artists like Matt Baker. Well, there are some that are done by Al Avison that are really, really great. And I'm going to show you one that I picked up. I'm going to tell you the story about how I picked it up. And that's going to be it for this video. But I kind of wanted to give a little bit of a hint of what's happening. So on Thursday, I will be showing some comics as well. It's not an unboxing. It's going to be a comic haul. But it's going to be a pretty big haul because it's all my modern collection that I'm picking up. And I wanted to show at least one cool book today. And so, typically Tuesdays and Thursdays I do my unboxings. So to get into the story of the book that I'm about to show, it all started where I was like, looking at different titles that are romance related titles that have cool covers. I kind of like ones that mixture of romance, good girl, and a bit of mystery, a bit of suspense. A little bit extra. I like that extra flavor added to them, where it's some of the ones that I've liked in the past are like ones where it's like the farmer's daughter and the farmer catches them in the act or something like that, or the jilted lover, or those kind of interesting, like where there's a little bit of drama with the romance, or some sexy girl. Like it's one of those things. So I've been looking at different titles, and one of the titles that I've sort of stumbled upon, and I've been picking up several books from it, is High School Romance. It has some really great Al Iverson art, and the one that I'm going to show you is an example of that. But I have to get to the story. so what happened was I was searching for these books, and I was checking on my comic shop where I usually buy these things. Anywhere they usually range in price from like the maybe $20 all the way up to $100 or $150, depending on the cover and depending on obviously the grade. However, they didn't. I saw that they had this one book that was really cool cover, but they just didn't have it. But I found it on eBay, and the guy had it for a really great price. It was like $30. I figured, hey, really cool cover, $30. But then I looked at the shipping, and the shipping was like $15. I'm like, that's a bit much for shipping, you know. And then I noticed that the guy was in Canada. But not only was he in Canada, he was in the same city as I am. And I was like, oh, I could just pick it up. So I basically messaged the guy saying, hey, look, the shipping is really crazy. I don't really want to pay shipping. It's just too much. Is there a way to mail it cheaper? And he said, well, it's a fixed shipping through eBay. It's actually cheaper to send it to the US and then send it back. It was actually cheaper than to mail it within one city, which doesn't make any sense. So I figured, hey, can I pick it up? So I kind of was messaging back and forth, and the guy was really good. He was very good about responding to me, and like within like a few minutes actually. So I was like, oh, that's, we're in the same city. Can I maybe pick it up? And he's like, sure, you can pick it up. So he changed the listing so that it would allow for pickup. So I bought the thing, and actually I made a mistake when I bought it, that I pressed my old address for, I don't know why. And then it tried to charge me shipping, and it was like he had to cancel the order. It was a big mess. I messed up, but I did get it sorted out, and I arranged it where I could do the pickup. And the weird thing about it was, he's like, well, I can't let you pick it up until you give me the code. I'm like, what code? He said they'll send you a code, and they never sent me a code. But in eBay, when you go to your order, you can actually click on order details, and it will give you the code that you use when you want to pick up an item. And then you give that code to the guy, and he can enter it in, and then it proves that you've picked it up. It's very complicated sometimes. I don't know why they just didn't email me the code, but they didn't. So all that was set up. I was on my way to his place, and I found out, well, he lives in the same city, but he lives at the very opposite side of the city. It was like a 30-minute drive, and it was Good Friday, and Good Friday shopping all weekend. And so the traffic was insane. It took me like an hour, like 30-minute drive took twice as long because the traffic was insane. And so I'm driving and like, oh, this is pretty bad. So it took me forever to get there. And then I finally get there, met the guy, he gave me the book, I gave them the code, and it went very smoothly. The guy was really nice. We started talking, and this is the book that I got from him. This is all that build up for this book. And I really like this book. It's like high school romance, number, I'm not even sure what number it is. That's a good question. Number something. I want to say 30 something, but it's a cool cover. So you got the girl, and she's with like some guy, in a log cabin, and she's taking care of him, kind of nursing him back to health. And he looks like an older guy just by the color of his hair, and but this is high school romance, so I imagine she's like a teen. I don't know. Teens back in the golden age dressed a lot more formally than they do now. I imagine that this is her father, and he's kind of, getting his shotgun ready, which is really a funny cover. So I kind of like these ones where there's a little bit of story going on the cover. And it's, I think the girl in the red dress is awesome as well. It's just, a fun cover altogether. Now, so I was talking to the guy, and, I was saying, oh, I really appreciate that you got the book. And he was explaining the story of the book, and he said that he got it basically in a lot, and he doesn't even like romance books. He doesn't like romance books at all. And they were just in there, a bunch of romance books. And so he was just trying to get rid of them because he's more interested in the superhero books. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I picked this one up, and I said, hey, we were getting to talking, and he has like a massive collection. He was telling me that he basically built this program to help him data entry in thousands of books into eBay. And right now he only has 11,000 books in eBay. He was saying only massive collection in eBay. And then he was saying, well, he has another 50,000 that he wants to add. So he's just this massive collection of comics. And so I was like, oh, wow, that sounds really cool. And he has some pretty major books and in high grades as well. So we were talking and I was like, oh, how would you like to come on my show? And he said, oh, that'd be great. And he even offered me some free books for inviting him on the show. So you're going to see him in a later interview. And he's a really great guy, actually. I guess he was using the comics to actually create a little charity. He was taking the more inexpensive books, and he was like, the sort of the dollar bin books, or $2 bin books, and he was selling them at $1 and then using that money to fund a local hospital for kids. And so he's just doing all these kind of cool things. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I think would be great to have you on my show. And so you'll see me interview him probably closer to Christmas will be when his interview comes out. But it was a really great experience. And it sort of worked out that I went through all this big process to just meet this guy and talk comics with him. And it's always good to meet somebody local that you can actually talk to. So that's the story. It was, and I've been sort of chatting with him, and hopefully we'll get him on the show, and he'll show some of his books. And he actually does the business with his son, so his son will be on the show as well. And it should be very interesting because he has a very good system for selling books on eBay. And he's going to discuss that and maybe show us some tricks on how to sell on eBay. So that should be really interesting. That's the story for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it's just one comic. Normally I'm showing like hundreds of comics. But I figured, hey, it's a relatively interesting story. I would like to hear your feedback. Do you like these stories of the single book? Tell me in the comments below. And have you ever picked up a comic rather than shipping it from eBay? I'd like to hear your stories. So put those in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and bye for now.